Welcome back, Leominsterites, to the June episode of Representing Leominster, and I am so thrilled to be with our new superintendent, Paula Deacon.
Thank you.
Also a neighbor of mine, so fun fact, we live in the same part of town. But I am just so happy to have you on the show just to talk a little bit about what's going on with the schools as we're wrapping up the school season. We just had a beautiful graduation day with the senior class. I think the biggest senior class we've graduated at Leominster.
It was huge. Huge. It was huge, but the day was perfect. Mother Nature was good to us. We were sweating how we were going to do this. The class was so large that having it indoors just wouldn't have done it justice. So there were all sorts of rituals going on throughout the city.
To hold off the rain.
To hold off the rain, and it worked. I have to say, I'm finishing up my 29th year in education, and that has to be in my top 3 for experiences.
That's awesome.
I was actually nervous going into it because you want to make sure that you're celebrating it.
Right.
Almost 500 students. And I wanted to do it justice. And many of the students I had either taught or disciplined as a principal or, or coached or what have you. And to see that piece, that's a culmination of all the work that people have done for years. And many of those students had been with us since pre-K and stayed with Leominster Public Schools. So when we could announce that we are putting children into prestigious schools. Harvard was up there, Princeton, Rensselaer, WPI, state universities across the country, and then to hear the workforce and the jobs that many of them had already landed. And then near and dear to my heart were the students that were going down the military path. And just making sure that they understood that they're a part of a community, literally, that bleeds blue, and that they can always come home and be supported. So it really was all-encompassing, and the smiles on the families' faces and the students, and it really was one of the best.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I was juggling Worcester and the Democratic Convention, and I was not going to miss graduation.
But imagine if that was indoors.
There was no way that we could have.
Over 5,000 attendees. And to not allow families to see that, or to put them in a back room with a camera,
with a TV,
it just wouldn't have worked. But it worked out beautifully, and the behavior of the students was remarkable and respectful. And when they left, I had sort of watched over the weekend to make sure that people were safe and secure. And literally, we ended with 0 incidents.
That's
very
phenomenal.
Respectful. It was very respectful.
And there was a little special ceremony at the beginning with a lovely graduate that rolled in on his wheels.
So once again, a veteran. The fact that we could celebrate that with him, and it was heartwarming for me to see the audience response.
So can you, for folks who didn't know about this, can you just give a little background on what happened this year?
So we had a veteran back in 1940 who had to leave high school, from Leominster High School, because he chose to join the military and go to war. And his family wanted him to experience that. So he should have been a part of the 1942 class. And very humbling, he didn't seek this out. It was his family. So his children and his grandchildren, and they contacted the school district and the mayor and said, is there any way we can be a part of this? It wasn't even a question. We were going to make it happen.
Absolutely.
So several people really jumped in to make sure that it was special for him. We made sure that his tassel had a 1942 on it. We got him a diploma from that era, and we were able, at the age of 94, and I'll tell you, he was spry. He didn't miss a beat. Present him with an honorary certificate of graduation, and he was appreciative but very humbled by it, and it meant a lot to his family as well. And
to see the students cheer for him, they were so excited to be able to celebrate this with him.
We don't have too many of our veterans from World War II left around us, and here was one. I mean, really, he's a celebrity. So to have that experience and exposure, it really meant a lot for the students. They were taking photos, they were doing selfies. He was very popular on Facebook for quite a while. Everybody wanted a picture with him.
Right.
So that's that generation that really deserves the respect, and our students did not fail. So it was a great celebration.
No, it was just a special graduation overall.
For all of us. You had the goosebumps.
Yeah.
And the patriotism that was there, it was endearing.
Yeah. And so tell me how it's going as the new superintendent.
Well, I'm really enjoying the position. I've got to tell you, I never thought I'd do this. When I first graduated from college a while ago, I really thought I was going to be a teacher my whole career. I love teaching.
Yeah.
I stayed in a classroom for 17 years. I enjoyed it. Stayed with professional development and taking coursework. And there were people along the way that, true to education, they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself.
Yeah.
And provided opportunities. After 17 years in a classroom, I became an instructional coach. I received some really extensive training in that area for about 3 years. And I moved to instructional coach to a district-wide coach, and very quickly went into my role as principal over at Fallbrook. That has been an experience as well. We've done very well as a school, and I had the opportunity to meet Governor Patrick, came out to visit, the Secretary of Education. It's been remarkable. And then to step into this role, somebody had the faith in me to do it. And so the opportunities are all over the place. So I've brought my past into my work now, and I can see different perspectives all the time. I love being a problem solver, but I know I'm not doing it alone. Everyone in the city, from teachers, admin, community members, families, students, we have yourself, the city, all the city departments are working hard because they want us to be successful.
Right.
So I'm just really enjoying the cooperation. We have our struggles.
Yeah.
We have some difficult decisions to make all the time, but I see our school system really coming back stronger and stronger. So I'm encouraged.
Yeah, and I'm excited for all of the innovation. And I know being a gateway city, early education is really important. And you're launching this new Footsteps to Brilliance program that I'm just so excited to see kind of roll out.
We are part of an innovation zone. We are involved with multiple communities and school districts so that every child birth to grade 3 has access to literacy. We know that it's the gatekeeper. It is the game changer. And I truly, in our work, I've said, as soon as a child is born, I want them to get their little beanie with the little footsteps on it and says, you know what, when you go home, let's start reading. So every student is afforded this. And so in the public, whenever we can, our K registration, our visits, we set up booths within our enrollment. And we make sure that people know that that is available. And we continue to work with the other districts. There's some really great ideas. We have districts who go out to the neighboring communities. They sit in the grocery store on a Saturday and register. We're looking to sit at the hospital in the waiting room. What a great opportunity. So as much literacy exposure as we can provide, why not?
Yeah, growing up in a working class family, my grandmother got me hooked on phonics. That's dating me, and it was really instrumental in making sure that I had this thirst for reading and communicating really young. And super thankful for the Leominster Public Library for allowing me to have access to so many books that my parents wouldn't be able to provide for me.
They work so hard for us, and they are a wonderful resource. It's nice to see how often people utilize our library. It's not a dinosaur at all. It's packed from morning till night. People know that that's a resource. We use them as a resource. So trying to build the community and make all those connections, accessibility is the key. If they can't come to the school department, where can they go? And the library has been an instrumental role for us.
Yeah, and a little plug for the library. For folks who don't know, they just launched a seed guide. So if you are interested and you're trying to get your garden going, they have a seed library that you can go and pick up 2 packs per day.
Oh, so that's fun. Great. That's great.
So another reason to go and visit the library.
That's great.
Yeah, and so last year's budget was rough, and I'm hoping that this year's is a little bit better. Can we talk a little bit about what's going on, and then just kind of the bigger picture? You and I have talked a lot about the foundation budget. The Senate has kind of taken up some legislation around it, just to talk about what's going on there.
So being dropped in when I was, I really had to ramp up my work around the budget because I had just the school perspective instead of the district. And one of the things you have to be mindful is the impact to the city and all other departments.
Right.
So we have worked tirelessly between the budget manager, myself, our finance committee. We truly went line by line, and we looked at historical data. And so we really broke out where our spending has happened. So we are providing that to the city. We turned in a budget quite early. We're open for conversation. Suggestion has been best. And we've been as transparent as possible in, and it's not that it's a crisis mode, but this formula that people are hearing about, this Chapter 70 state funding, it's
so broken.
It's so broken. And we're a city that's growing, and our economy is growing, and the formula makes it look like our city can just fund us. But that puts an impact on every other department. So I'm very respectful in the fact that it needs to be addressed. I'm hoping it's going to actually be addressed, because if it is addressed, the impact to the schools of Leominster will be it'll be incredible. We will be able to not fund adequately. That's the bottom line. Everything, it's adequate. We don't want to be adequate.
Right.
We want to be exceptional. We deserve to be exceptional. And there's going to be a tipping point at some point. Our students deserve to have the services that they need to be successful. Adequate doesn't cut it. So I'm going to stay on every team that I'm on. I'm going to reach out as much as I can, but I will be clearly communicating that funding from 1993 does not measure up to the enrollment of the students of 2018.
And I think the gateway cities, the urban cities, have been really talking about this, because I'm so proud of the education that I got in the Leominster public school system. First in my family to go to college, I was able to finish a year of college at Leominster High School through advanced placement classes. That made it so much more affordable for us. But the formula happened when I was 5.
Right.
And so many things have changed in terms of special education needs, in terms of healthcare costs, and just even, I think we've talked a lot about the snapshot of where we find out, okay, you get your funding from this one point in time.
Right.
But kids are enrolling, families are enrolling their kids throughout the entire year. Can we look at something that really captures that students are moving from district to district, and are we getting penalized because we have a certain number at the beginning of the school year, but by the end, we've grown.
And in between, the in and out, it's a very transient, fluid profession. So when we look at enrollment on October 1, we were 6,005 students. Since then, we've taken in another 250 after that cutoff, which all of a sudden, there's not funding and there's this impact. So just saying October 1 is the gatekeeper, that's hard. That's really harsh. And enrollment across the state is really staying steady. There's not big drops, not huge gains. We're really steady across the board from community to community. And what you're saying around the special education, around ELL, around services, the formula from 1993 doesn't even come close. And so
it doesn't include transportation. And the other piece that's a really interesting dynamic in the State House is, so regional schools get some funding for transportation, but cities, gateway cities like Leominster, cities like Gardner, don't get any funding. But oftentimes our districts have a lot more needs, and it's so much harder, and we're struggling to meet that net school spending.
And transportation can't come out of net school spending. So we have tried, and I have to say, the companies that we work with have worked with us to provide. But education starts with accessibility. If we can't afford to transport students, we're in trouble. And they deserve to have the accessibility. but it puts that burden back on the cities, and then we look for money to supplement, and then that comes out of the classroom. So it's constantly this catch-22. Where are we going to take the hit? Do we cut classrooms and teachers and all so that we can bus students in? It shouldn't be a this for that.
Right.
It just should be taking care of kids.
Yeah, and I've been at so many school committee meetings over the last 2 years, and I'm so thankful for the families who are participating, for the Leominster residents who are participating. And if you have questions, engage with Superintendent Deacon,
Absolutely.
engage with your school committee members and me, so that we can really revise this formula and figure out a solution that's going to make sure that Leominster is getting its fair share of education funding and able to have our kids compete with the school districts that
Absolutely.
that have that extra tax base to invest in their schools.
Yeah, so there are multiple opportunities. I'm pretty accessible myself, and I enjoy being here because I'm sure there's people who I don't see, you know, either through my emails or in the schools or the events that I attend. So it's nice to, you know, who's behind the curtain, sort
Yeah.
of. So to maybe hit a few more people to say, you know what, I welcome suggestion. Email me, call me, stop by. Somebody's going to have the answer for us, and we just need to keep up as a community.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break, but we will be back with Superintendent Deacon in a little bit. Welcome back, and our set changed a little bit. We brought in some guests, so Superintendent Deacon and I are new members of the Leominster Education Foundation. So this is something that the state representative for Leominster has been a part of for years now. And as superintendent, you have a role on the Leominster Education Foundation.
So, as an active board member, we're always looking for opportunities. The Leominster Education Foundation supports students and staff, classrooms, with opportunities for things, mini grants, scholarships.
$55,000 in scholarships. That blows my mind.
You can't even make that up. Teachers receive, after putting in an initiative for a classroom, something that the school department probably couldn't budget in. The Leominster Education Foundation supports it and celebrates education. And so when we meet, we say, how can we best support sort of creative, innovative thinking? And when you can hand out over $55,000 in scholarships to families, education is so expensive in this country. It felt so good at the awards night to say, LEF, LEF, LEF. We supported, 50 students. So, and buy books, buy whatever you need to do, right? So one of our new initiatives has been around what?
Leominster's history and Pink Lawn Flamingo. So I brought this idea to the Leominster Education Foundation. One, I love fundraising. It's just a fun thing, especially when it's for a really good cause. And I learned from one of the chairmen on one of my committees, John Sybeck, that in his community, flocking people's lawns is a big fundraiser. And I was like, how are we not doing this? We're home
Leominster.
of the
We're
Pink
Leominster.
Lawn Flamingo.
Right.
We absolutely have to be doing this. And so I pitched it to the Leominster Education Foundation, and everyone hopped on it and just had
We've been having so much
fun with it. But it's a great way to let folks know about the Leominster Education Foundation, raise money for our students and our teachers, and have fun giving some homage to Leominster pride.
We have celebrated birthdays, graduations, retirements, anniversaries. I think one of the best ones, it was just a neighborhood, and they just wanted to have fun, so they flocked the entire neighborhood.
I love that.
Just to celebrate and just to put it out there. And I was noticing, through social media, constant people driving by homes and saying, oh, it's here, it's here, it's here. So we really want to spread this.
Yeah.
We did it just for the month of May. But now a few people have said, oh, I have an occasion in July. Could I do this for my anniversary? And we do have a channel. You can call Steph Santucci down at the PIC Center in Leominster, and we will make special accommodations should there be an event. This should be celebrated. This is about Leominster, so to continue to celebrate it and in support of our students, it goes directly back to Leominster education. We don't put the money anywhere else. We talk about best ways to spend it, and this feeds right into our theme.
And so for folks who really want to have fun with us and join the Leominster Education Foundation, I know they're always looking for new board members.
Always.
This was a conversation at our board meeting last night. Reach out to me, reach out to Superintendent Deacon.
Absolutely.
And we can get you more information on kind of how to get involved. And it really is so many fun events and super community focused, and it's just the pride. Like the gala, we got to have one of my fellow graduates, Courtney Bassett, come
that
and
was
talk.
great.
And for folks who don't know, she was on Broadway with Josh Groban. She's doing amazing, phenomenal stuff. And the LEF Gala is a great way for us to honor community members and alumni who are giving back.
Right. We had John
community.
Churcher there, who supports the veterans. We celebrated teachers in every building. We celebrated Dave Fandaka, the director up at CTEI. Many of the giveaways in how do you say, the decor.
Yeah.
It's cultivated through us and through CTI. We make it a very community-based project, so we're constantly looking for more members. So if it's something you want to be involved in, please don't hesitate. However we can build this and make it bigger, better, stronger.
Yeah, and I just think it's another way that Leominster, I'm just so proud
It's fun.
to see
It's so fun.
how this community rallies together and really supports itself.
Right. Ideas like this is how we solve problems. So even if somebody has an idea, I would love that.
Yeah.
You know, just call with an idea.
Yeah, and this is a great way, right, that the school committee can't
Right.
budget for everything and that we get to do that extra stuff. And for our students who are going to college, and how do they pay for those extra
Right.
things? I remember senior night, the awards night, and it was a big night for my family. We paid for most of my first year of college through
Wow.
that, and it was just really thankful to see the
that's
the
remarkable.
community come together.
Yeah, it's so nice that you were a part of it. So when we talk about these
Right.
events, you get to say, I was there, I did that. So it makes it more special.
Yeah, and it's just so great to see everyone come back from the education system and just how proud they are. And you're right, Leominster bleeds blue. Like
Bleeds blue.
There is a love there,
There is.
for this community, and it's so great. And I'm so excited to see kind of what you're up to. Do you have any other things heading into the summer? You have some new changes in terms of like leadership team.
Yes.
We have a principal leaving at Leominster High School and a new one coming in.
So there's a lot going on. So Dr. Lord from Leominster High School has taken a position in Peabody as assistant superintendent. So he's growing professionally. And we just formally announced Dr. Stephen Dubzinski, who has been a longtime member of the community up there, but it's a positive addition. The staff and students and families are very excited to see what he's going to do. Downtown, we've made just adjustments, and we need to have a curriculum focus and a technology focus. There are high stakes accountability that are brand new to the state of Massachusetts with the next generation assessments.
Right.
So we need to ramp up and make sure that we're cutting edge. We don't want to be behind something. We want to be in front of it. So putting a team together that I feel is so trustworthy and secure and strong, they are going to promote all the positives in Leominster education. And truly my hope is that our enrollment grows. I want our community to access the Leominster Public Schools. I don't think you're going to get it any better anywhere else, and I want the support of everyone here. So whatever we can do to make that happen, we're going to do it.
No, and when I'm talking to colleagues, I am so proud of what we were able to do in the Leominster public school system. I mean, just even with the high school level, to have the comprehensive high school with the academics, with the technical education, and with the Leominster Center for Excellence, to be able to do that student-led learning, student-centered learning. It's just an amazing opportunity for students to really figure out what's the right fit for them and to be supported throughout that whole process.
There are so many choices. If you think about it, we're able to address most needs of students. And, you know, at that age, they shouldn't know all the answers. That's why we're here. And we have opportunities between LCE and CTI and the Leominster High side that students flexibly and fluidly as well
Can change throughout those 4 years.
because that's expected. I never want somebody to be stuck in something that's not the right fit. So we're constantly looking to revamp our plans and making sure that we do have a better fit for every student. So I would welcome the onslaught of more students up there. We just got to keep celebrating.
Yeah, no, Superintendent Deacon, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me
I
this
appreciate
month.
this. I do. Thank you.
This is an awesome way to wrap up the school year. And just so that you all know, I still have my office hours on Monday nights from 5:30 to 7 at the Leominster Public Library, and Friday mornings we're staying at the Leominster High School from 7 to 8 a.m. all through the summer. We're not going to change locations because the school's going to be open, and they're happy to host us. So we're really excited. I hope you come and pop in and see us in the Gallagher
Anytime.
building downtown, and we would love to hear from you and your ideas on how to strengthen Leominster Public Schools. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in July.